is that contrast between mountain and the sea. You can see the old town of Kotor, and just imagine sitting on City Square, having coffee or ice cream, and in 1 hour you can be on top of one of these mountains and doing different activities in beautiful untouched nature. So let's start with the coast. You can see on the map the part where Tivat Kotor Pera start is named Boka Bay. It's the most southern fjord in Europe. And another part which is very important for what we do for our business is Budva Riviera. Even though from Tiva to Budva it takes us only 30 minutes, it's a big difference between these two areas. Fjord is surrounded by high dramatic mountains, and then in Budva Riviera we have long, beautiful sandy beaches, most of them on more than 2 kilometers long. When it comes to the accommodation on the coast, we will mention 5 hotels. Of course, there are more, but we don't have time for all of them. Let's start with Amman Resort Sveti Stefan. I've mentioned its history. It became a hotel in the period of Yugoslavia. Even then, it was visited by many celebrities, by Sophia Loren, Elizabeth Taylor, and many others. Just to mention that Novak Djokovic, famous tennis player, got married on this island. So today it has 52 accommodation units, a beautiful cliff pool that you can see on the photo. At the island there are 3 hotels, there are even 3 churches, and only some 300 meters away is Villa Milocer, and next to it is beautiful spa center. Amman Resort is definitely a symbol of luxury tourism in Montenegro. What I find very nice is the style. When Amman Resort took over the island, they were not allowed to change the exterior because the island is of course protected by law. They changed the look of rooms, but they kept the style from the old Fisherman Village. Hotel Regent Porto Montenegro, I must say that it's one of my favorite hotels in Montenegro. You are looking now at luxury marina for yachts. When I was a child, this used to be the old military shipyard. Everything there was gray and green. There was huge gate. We were not allowed to walk through this area. And then Peter Monk, one Canadian billionaire, bought the shipyard, removed all those ships, and this marina was built. In the heart of marina is the Hotel Regent Porto Montenegro with 149 accommodation units. Its position is perfect because it's surrounded by bars, shops, restaurants, and only 200 meters away is Tivat city center. Hotel itself, as you can see, most of the rooms has a beautiful view of Tivat Bay. And what is also nice, room style, when they were building the hotel, they wanted to keep traces from that military shipyard. So when you're walking through hotel and staying in your room, you have a feeling that you are in a ship. When it comes to conference capacities in Hotel Regent, you are looking at ballroom. On this photo, it's a gala dinner style for 100 persons, but in theater style, ballroom has capacity for 200 persons. Another new amazing project in Montenegro is Chadi Lustig Bay Resort. It was built in a place where there was nothing. There were just rocks and sea. We used to come here for camping. It was our hidden place. Don't worry, we found another one. But a company, Orascom, who is building this resort, actually built the entire town, we can say. All these houses that you can see, they were recently built. And in the heart of Lustig Bay Resort is Hotel the Chadi with 111 rooms. It was open 2 years ago, and it's perfect for guests who are looking for more of peace and quiet. It's very modern, and as you can see. One more project is Porto Novi, one and only. It's another luxury marina For yachts, Marina is already opened, so Porto Novi Marina is already opened, but Hotel One and Only will be opened in October 2020. Hotel will have 120 rooms, suites, and villas, and we are very happy to have it because it's the only one and only. It will be the only one and only hotel in Europe. One hotel which is very convenient for smaller groups is Lazor Boutique Hotel, situated in 18th century palace. For the moment, hotel has 24 rooms overlooking the Herceg Novi Bay. But next year there will be one more building nearby where there will be 104 rooms. Part in front of the hotel is a perfect place for gala dinners and events and even conferences. When it comes to the activities on Montenegrin coast, we will mention a couple of them. We will start with activity which is becoming more and more popular because more and more guests are looking for activities that are in touch with nature, sustainable. So we would start with Lustica olive and bike tour. Lustica Peninsula is famous for olive groves. The most famous one, we can say, is family Moritz, who produces olive oil for last 300 years. They have more than 1,000 olive trees. Some of those olive trees are even older than 300 years old. And they are very proud to be the only producers of organic olive oil in Montenegro. We have many others who are producing olive oil, but family Moritz they are the only producers of organic olive oil in our country. They really do it with a lot of love and care, and they very often say that olives should be treated like part of family, otherwise that golden liquid would not taste so good. So during the visit, we can visit, of course, olive grove and the old mill which was used for pressing olives 300 years ago. And of course, Jovan Moritz, PhD, he would explain production of olive oil, and it is, of course, always followed by tasting of local specialties from Montenegro, smoked ham, cheese, local grappa, rakia, local brandy, and of course, local homemade wine. And of course, very often in the village, you can see donkeys, sheep, and I find that very nice. Visit to Moritz estate can be, of course, combined with Lustica cycling tour. It is a beautiful experience as there is no lot of traffic. We make many stops at the viewpoints. For example, on this photo, you can see beautiful view of open sea and Fortress Mamula. One way to discover the fjord that I mentioned before, Boka Bay Fjord, the most southern fjord in Europe, surrounded by mountains, is to visit it by catamaran. You're looking at event ship Tahiti, catamaran with capacity of 96 persons. We never go with more than 80 due to comfort of our guests. But just try to imagine having DJ on board, open bar on board, even food, of course, can be served on board. And while riding by catamaran through the bay, we can make many stops for swimming, or of course stops to visit Our Lady of the Rocks, to visit the old town of Kotor or the old town of Perast. One more way to discover Boka Bay is speedboat ride, perfect for those who are looking for more adventurous way to discover it. We can have speedboats for up to 250 persons, and that gives us opportunity to visit more places in one day. For example, to visit the old town of Kotor, protected by UNESCO. You can see the walls of the old town, which are more than 5 kilometers long, and behind the walls there is beautiful St. Tryphon's Cathedral, many small city squares, but as well many beautiful restaurants, shops, souvenir shops. So town is very alive. I've already mentioned St. Tryphon's Cathedral that you can see and some of city squares. And while walking through the old town, we can simply make A short stop to taste local vegan chocolate produced in Montenegro. One more thing that can be done only by speedboats is surprise concert in the military tunnel. It's amazing experience. We are riding speedboats through the bay, and then all of a sudden we are in the mountain. We are in a tunnel in the mountain where we have a surprise concert of a cappella group of friends who are singing traditional songs from Boca Bay. It's very acoustic, and the guests are always very surprised because no one expects to get into the mountain by speedboat. One more way to discover the bay is by a cruise on Galatiadran. It is the sailboat which was built in 1933 in Hamburg. Today it's a school boat, but it can be used for events as well. And while visiting Boca Bay, there are many beach clubs for lunch or just relax and enjoy a beautiful atmosphere. The most beautiful one is Fisherman Village, the one that you can see on photo. Every day at about 11 o'clock, local fishermen from this area, they bring freshly caught fish to this restaurant. So after having lunch at the restaurant part, we just move to lounge area where we can relax, or of course we can even have activities like kayaks and stand-up paddles, jet ski, etc. What is also nice to say is that at the restaurant, besides freshly caught fish, they also use vegetable and fruit from their own garden and both from people who are producing organic vegetable and fruit. And another interesting activity in Boca Bay area is sailing in the Bay of Kotor, possible to do for now for smaller groups, but it is as well an amazing experience. Boca Bay, in Boca Bay, there is one beautiful winery owned by family Obradović. It was really hard work for them to make it happen, but together with Savina Monastery, which is nearby, they made their dream come true, and they have winery on beautiful position overlooking the Bay of Herceg-Novi, and they produce high quality red, white, and rosé wine, of course, followed by local specialties that you can see on photo, local vegetable, fruit, smoked ham, and cheese. Now something a little bit different, but just 1 hour away from the coast is Lobster National Park. You can see where it's situated. And the way how to reach the park, it is by one of the most adventurous roads we can say in the world. The road consists of 25 serpentines. Of course, National Park is reachable by bus as well, but it's much more interesting to do this tour by jeeps. So the road was built by the end of 19th century to connect the town of Kotor with our old royal capital, with the town of Cetinje. It was an amazing project back then, and there is an interesting story about one part of the road which has a shape of letter M. This actually stands as in honor of our Queen Milena. So the road was built when Montenegro was the kingdom. Our late and only king was King Nicholas, and our queen was Queen Milena in area. One of the activities that is becoming as well more and more popular is to pick herbs and cook in the nature with a biology professor. Lobster Mountain area is known for let's say herbs. There are more than 1,200 of them in the mountain. The main reason is the mixture of continental and Mediterranean climate. So after picking herbs and learning about those herbs with biology professor, we can prepare a meal and using those same herbs that we picked up during our tour. Another activity in Lobster National Park, which is very interesting for those who are looking for more adrenaline, is ATV tour through the park with several stops at viewpoints. And of course, for even more adrenaline, zip line in Njeguši on the way to National Park is really an amazing experience. Of course, there are more ways to discover the mountain and its untouched nature. That's by horseback riding or by doing tours, mountain biking tour through Lovćen National Park. We were talking about Montenegrin coast and mountains that surround them, the one that I've just mentioned, Lovćen National Park. But Montenegro North is something completely different. The part that you can see on the photo, there, the area where towns of Žabljak and Kolašin are. When we say Montenegro, that tells you enough. When we translate Montenegro, that would mean the Black Mountain. And in this part of Montenegro, we have mountains that tops are more than 2,500 meters high. In that area, we have 3 national parks, and we will mention now 2 accommodation options. Of course, there are more. We are very happy to say that very soon we will have a new hotel Durmitor in the town of Žabljak. Hopefully, it will be open very soon. The hotel will have 70 rooms and 11 villas that will be constructed in the forest nearby. It will be a luxury resort. And what is great is its position from the hotel. We can do many activities like Tara River rafting, canyoning, and similar. We have more and more requests from guests who want to stay in nature, to have more, let's say, informal accommodation, and we have more and more ethno and eco villages opening in Montenegro. One of the most beautiful one is Ethno Village Izlazak in village Izlazak. In this village, we had an amazing event for a producer of sport equipment. It was last year. So there are 13 cottages, beautiful restaurant with the view of Piva Lake. Of course, all food served in the restaurant is from local villages, so it's all homemade. And when it comes to that part of Montenegro, of course, there are different activities that can be done. Just to mention, biking tour, hiking tours through the mountains with our experienced hiking guides, horseback riding tours through the mountain, through the National Park of Durmitor, National Park Bjelasica. And one of the most amazing experience for those who are looking for more adrenaline is, of course, canyoning in a canyon in a video. Everyone can do it. We have very experienced instructors who do it with us, and it's really the most amazing experience in that part of Montenegro. Another one is Tara River whitewater rafting. Tara River Canyon is the deepest one in Europe, 1,300 meters deep, and one part of the canyon is protected by UNESCO. So what is really amazing by doing Tara River rafting tour is that water is so pure and clean that you can drink it. So that's why very often Tara River is named like the tear of Europe. Usually the tours are 3.5 hours, and after that lunch is served in nature. I can say that Montenegro is becoming more and more popular winter destination as well. We have ski centers in north of the country. We are investing a lot in that area, especially in the last couple of years. So there were huge investments, and new investments are planned even in the amount of 140 millions to improve ski lift systems, etc. More and more new hotels are opening, like Hilton, Amman, and Sheraton, coming to Montenegro mountains of Bjelasica and Durmitor, and of course, different activities can be done besides ski slopes, 60 kilometers of ski slopes. There are possibilities to do rock climbing, snowshoeing, snowmobiling, and horseback riding. And what is also interesting is to visit one of those small villages, to visit families and taste local products from that part of Montenegro. A few photos of activities during winter time. And now one fun fact about Montenegro. I've mentioned that many celebrities visited Montenegro before and these days. And for example, Claudia Schiffer, when she visited Montenegro, she was staying at the island Sveti Stefan that you can see at the photo right now. And she was amazed by a luxury of the island, Sveti Stefan, but as well, she visited the north of Montenegro, the part that I was just telling you about. And here she was amazed by hospitality of local people who took her in. I mean, they had no idea who Claudia Schiffer is in the northern villages. So I'm very proud to say that hospitality is something very, very important for us. I will not talk too much about Intours DMC. I think Norman said enough, but I will just say that we are very passionate about what we are doing. It's very important to us to be flexible and a valuable partner to all our partners. I can say that we have many games in our legs. So we have a lot of experience, and I hope that very soon everything will get back to normal, and that we will feel very soon that stress while having groups on the ground in Montenegro. So I would like to thank you all for listening. I hope it was interesting. And of course, Norman is now taking over. Thank you once again. I hope that you enjoyed.
Great. Thank you very much, Diana, for this great presentation and for showing us at least a couple of possibilities. There are more to do and there's more to see actually, but now it is time actually for you, dear clients. If you have any questions, then now it is your time to ask them. There is the chat box below where you can click on. And if you have questions, we do ask you just to type in your question into the chat box that we can talk about Montenegro and its possibilities. So in case there is someone who was missing some information, just let us know now, please. I mean, and while you are thinking about your questions, Diana, can we quickly talk about the best travel period? Since you were talking now about winter period and summer period, I think there is a certain month or certain periods that are quite good in terms of rates, and also the period itself, like when does the winter season start and when is the swimming season?
Well, when it comes to, let's first start with swimming season. The best period would be end of April, somewhere until the end of June, because after that we already have July and August. Montenegro is very crowded, temperatures are very high, so the best thing would be end of April until end of June, and of course beginning of September until the end of October. When it comes to winter holidays, let's say somewhere about month of January, from January to March is the best period to come for winter holidays.
Great. Okay, perfect. So in the meantime, we have reached some questions. How are the road conditions in Montenegro? It would be interesting to know for driving events, like the conditions of the roads.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I can say that when we started doing this business, the situation was not so great with roads, but these days, I mean, 80% of our roads are reconstructed. So now we have very, very good roads in Montenegro. I can mention that in 2016, we had the Jaguar F-Pace event in Montenegro. We had more than about 700 media coming to Montenegro. So now the road conditions, especially the coast and the central part of Montenegro, are very good. In the north, to be honest, we still have work to do, but I can say that road conditions are good.
Great. Then there are some more questions. I think someone was asking for the price, so the balance, the value for money. Just wondering, is Montenegro an expensive country to visit? The question is, what is expensive?
Yes, the question is one. Well, you know, I would say that Montenegro is convenient for lower budget and higher budget group. In today's presentation, we mentioned to you only, let's say, high-end hotels like Amman Resort, one and only Regent. But of course, there are many, many more 4 and 5 stars hotels that are, of course, not so expensive. So I can say that there is possibilities for all, let's say, types of groups. Montenegro is some, let's say, 10 to 15% cheaper than Croatia. And when it comes to bars and restaurants, we are cheaper, let's say, definitely cheaper than most of European countries. So we can offer, of course, many things for higher budget groups, but also for average and lower budget groups.
Great. Okay, thank you for this. There is another question. Can the island of the Lady of the Rock be privatized for groups, for events, or is it a public site?
To be honest, we try during the day. It cannot be privatized. There are many guests coming to visit it, so during the day it cannot be privatized. We managed to privatize it once. It was after 7 o'clock in the evening, when there are no any other guests. So during the day it's not possible, but after the closure of the church, it is possible.
Great. And then there is a question connected to the mountain area. Which airport is the closest one to the mountain for winter incentives? How long is the transfer to the nearest hotel in the mountains? And for how many people can you organize self-drive? Like, also, how many cars do you have on spot?
Self-drive. Okay, so from the best option when going to the mountains, the best option is to use Podgorica Airport. As from Podgorica Airport to town of Kolashin, where first hotel, for example, Hotel Bianca is, distance is 1 hour and 15 minutes. So it's a very good option. And when it comes to self-drive, we have about 50 cars. So usually when it's self-drive, usually we have 2 or 3 persons per car. So we have 50, sometimes we can have even more. It all, of course, all depends on availability, how early we start looking for cars, but in general, let's say some 50 of them.
Great. Talking about flights, there is another question. Is it reasonable to use the airport of Dubrovnik instead of Podgorica?
I find Podgorica a better option because there are no borders and you don't have to think if there will be queue at the border or not. I mean, I always like to tell you the truth. Sometimes we go through the border in 5 minutes, and sometimes if there is a bus in front of us, we simply have to wait. Procedure is very smooth. Very often they allow us police officer just to give them the list of passengers with passport details. They don't even scan passports, but we never know how the situation is going to be. Usually problem is in July and August. In May and June it's still fine, but I always find Podgorica Airport as better option because we don't have to think about border at all. But I understand it is true that at Dubrovnik airports there are more flights, there are more options, and you can find very often cheaper flights. So it's good to have it as an option.
Yeah, it's just the fact that we can't influence the procedures with the border controls. I personally experienced it twice, but it was main season, it was in October, and it took us about 5 to 10 minutes waiting time at the border for the border control. There was just one more bus, which was quite okay. And on the way back, actually, there was no bus at all, so there was no waiting time. But
Yes.
this is just something that we cannot influence, and it strongly depends on the season.
Of course, but what I have to mention is that they are very, when we had the car events, which were combined with Croatia, I must say that they were very, very flexible. They left one lane just for us. They didn't even, scan all passports, so they helped us on the roads. So I think that's very important in case of car events which are combined with Croatia.
Yeah. Diana, there is one question that is connected again to the mountain area, like the north of Montenegro. We talked about the distances, Podgorica airport to the north, but using the other airports like Dubrovnik or Tivat, how far is that?
Okay, from Tivat to the first town of Kolashin, it would take us approximately, let's say, 3 hours. 3 hours. From Dubrovnik airport, it can be done from the other side of the country, but that would be at about 4 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah. So it's definitely recommendable to use Podgorica airport if we
Podgorica, definitely. But very often we have programs when we combine coast and mountain. I find that very interesting, and to make that transfer more interesting, we can organize, for example, transfer by jeeps with stops on the way to make it more like activity and not transfer. So when we do combination of programs.
Yeah, great. Okay, there is another question. How many days should a group visit Montenegro to get best overview?
Okay, for incentive groups, I would say 3 nights, 4 days is perfect. Because in that case, we are, relaxed. We can do the mountains, we can do the coast, we can do catamaran, we can do speedboats, etc. Even 2 nights are okay, but I find it much better if we have 3 nights and 4 days. If we do programs combining Dubrovnik and Montenegro, in that case, I would definitely say 4 nights, especially because of that transfer day. And as well, if we combine the coast and the north of Montenegro as well, I would say that 4 nights is 4 or even 5 nights is the best option.
Mm-hmm. And when we do the combination of North Montenegro and the south, the coastline, you would of course have one hotel change, like 2 nights in the mountains and 2 nights at the coast.
Exactly. I can even send you the sample of the program and activities that we usually include when we have those kinds of programs.
Great. I mean, this is something that we do anyway for all of you. Diana will wrap up all the information and send you some further information about Montenegro, and sending you a sample program and all the information that you received in that presentation. And of course, whenever you have any more questions related to the program or to your groups, to your clients, what they require, just drop us an email, send us a line. You can contact us at STR Promise or Diana directly. No matter, we are connected anyway. So
of course,
if there is anything else that we can do for you, please get in touch with us. I don't see any further questions so far. So if you have one more question, then just do it now. Last call. Otherwise, I would close the webinar and finish it. Wait a couple of seconds. Okay. I think there is no more questions, so it's time to say thank you very much for joining the webinar today and for taking the time to learn a bit more about Montenegro. I hope we could inspire you a bit and you enjoyed the journey with us. And we would be super happy to receive your feedback about the webinar and also the destination itself. And yeah, looking forward to hear from all of you. Stay safe, enjoy your afternoon, and thank you, Diana, for this great presentation and for letting us be part of Montenegro and Intours. And yeah, same to you. Stay safe. Have a great afternoon, and see you hopefully soon, all in Montenegro.
Thank you so much, Norman. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.